Hello. Right, today I'm going to have a brief demonstration of my new Bissell Healthy Home Pet Clean carpet washer. Now I'm going to be doing the most heavily used area of my home, which is the living room, which, although we never have shoes on, does get the most dirt from the dogs and from general wear and tear. Now this carpet on the video looks very clean, and in fact it was washed with a Vax carpet washer only a matter of weeks ago, but there are some marks appeared. It's very hard to pick up, but there is a circular mark there. I think that's where a dog had an accident and it was cleaned up with a Bissell Spot Bot, but we didn't go over the area again, and it's left a little bit of a round mark there. And there are other odd little marks that have appeared from I don't know where on the carpet. Again, it's hard to pick up, but there is a dark mark here, just there. And there's some other little bits and pieces around that are quite just odd marks and things. But I'm not expecting there to be a dramatic result. But this is a real test, a real home test. It's not done in a studio. I'm not putting any extra dirt down in order to make it look impressive. This is just going to be a genuine test of a vacuum deep cleaner on a carpet that looks pretty clean. And in fact, I think it is pretty clean. But we'll just see how much dirt we get out of a carpet that does look clean. And like I said, nothing's been done to this carpet. It has been washed in the last 4 weeks. It's been regularly vacuumed. And we're going to have a go. So first thing to do before you deep clean is to vacuum your carpet. And I'd recommend, if you've got a bagless vacuum, empty the container, make sure all your filters are clean. If you've got a bagged vacuum, put a new bag in if it needs it, and make sure your filters are clean on your bagged vacuum. And just give your carpet a thorough vacuuming. Just go a bit slower than you normally would, and even crisscross. If you go up and down your room, I'd recommend going across the room as well, so you've crisscross the strokes. That'll ensure you get as much surface dirt and a bit of the deep dirt from your carpet before washing, because your carpet washer will perform better if you've removed as much dirt as you can using your vacuum. So the first thing we need to do with this Bissell, as I say, it's a Healthy Home Pet Clean. It's suitable if you have pets sneezing and doing all sorts on the carpet. It's a fairly basic model in the Bissell range. It's fairly low down in the pecking order, but you can pick this up in some places from about £100 if you shop around. But you know, you could pay up to 200 or more if you don't bother looking. So anyway, this cost me £113, which I think is good value. Right then, first thing we need to do with the carpet washer, this has never been used, oh sorry, no, it's been used once upstairs, so it's basically brand new. First thing we need to do with this carpet washer, and any carpet washer, is fill it with some warm water and some solution. So in Bissell's case, we have a tank that just lifts out easily with its own carrying handle. So I'll take this to the sink and we'll put some solution into the tank. Right, so we've got the solution tank at the sink ready for filling, and I'm going to be using the formula that actually was supplied with the machine. It's only a small size, but that should be enough to do the living room. This is specifically for pet stains and odour, so this is the one to pick if you've got a lot of pets in your home. This will do several other solutions, different fragrances, lavender, fresh, spring. They used to do an orange fragrance. I don't think you can get that anymore. They do a professional one as well for really tough stains. So if your carpet hasn't been deep cleaned at all for many years, maybe that's a good one to try first. But for pets, this is the one that Bissell recommend, and it's 2 times concentrated. So what I always like to do with any solution is give it a shake first. Shake the camera as well. Now here we have the tank. So to open the lid, you just have to move the carry handle towards the back and the lid comes off. You'll notice that this is a single tank system, or Bissell call it tank in tank. So you've got a flexible, tough bladder here where all the clean water and your solution goes. And then the dirty water, as you're washing the carpet, obviously the clean water is being removed from the inner bladder and it's surrounded by the dirty water. So you only have one tank to fill and empty, which has its advantages and disadvantages. This model tends to hold a bit less water than a lot of machines I've used, so it does mean more frequent trips to the sink, emptying and refilling. But as it's just a one tank job, you're not taking 2 tanks, so you know it's not such a hardship. First thing we need to do is put the solution in, which goes into here. Bissell have kindly provided a measuring cup that's built into the lid. It's even got a little lip there for pouring. So let's just open the open the solution. Let's put it and fill it to the formula line there. And then we just pour it. Trying to do this one-handed. I haven't been able to afford a cameraman yet, so I'm trying to film it as I'm doing it, which is a bit tricky. There we go. Right, so that's the solution in. Now you need to top that up with hot water from the tap, not boiling water because you'll ruin the bladder. And it won't do the machine any good, and your carpets don't need boiling water. So here we are filling it up. On some Bissell models, above the model I'm going to demonstrate, they have an onboard heater which will take your hand hot tap water and heat it further and maintain the heat. But because this is quite a small cleaner and the tank, it won't take too long before this tank is used up, I don't think it's going to matter. But yeah, as I say, if you've got lots and lots of carpet to clean, heavily soiled carpet, it might be worth looking at one of the models higher up in the range. So I'm just filling, as you can see it's filling the internal bladder. Whoops, see if we can get a little bit more in there. That's about it, it's about full enough. Also, just while I've got the tank open, I'll show you this little device here. That's the float valve. That will raise up and cut the suction off when the dirty tank is full, so there's no chance of you sucking water into the motor. And also on the lid, you've got a little mesh screen there, which prevents any dog hairs and carpet fibres getting into the motor as well. Just make sure you always keep that clean each time you use the machine. So we just pop the lid on the tank. There we go. And as you lift the handle up, it locks the lid onto the tank. And so it's nice and secure for when you're carrying it back to the machine. Right, so here we are back at the machine with the full tank. So it's just a question of popping it in. There's only one way it will go in. Making sure it's firmly seated, and then you just pop the handle and click it to the back there. Very simple to operate. If you can use a vacuum cleaner, you'll be able to use this machine quite easily. 2 switches on the back. One releases the handle to the operating position, and the red switch turns the machine on and off. The only other thing you've got to ensure is in the correct position before you start using the machine is this tools dial here. Just to position, you've got that for tools and that for floor cleaning. So it's self-explanatory really. When you're using the built-in tools, because this model does have a hose and nozzle, so you can clean your stairs and upholstery in your car, make sure you've got it in the tools position. The two red dots are lined up. For floor cleaning, obviously you want it there, and then that will divert the suction to the floor head. So basically what this machine will do, I'll tell you now, because although this is pretty quiet, I must say, compared to some carpet washers, it's not too noisy. I don't know how that will appear to you on the video, but I can tell you it's not too bad. What this cleaner will do, I'll take this off just to show you a bit clearer. With this machine, we've got 5 rows of brushes that rotate, very similar to an upright vacuum cleaner. And also underneath there are 2 jets. They spray out the carpet cleaning solution onto the carpet, and then the brushes agitate the solution into the pile to release the dirt and to hopefully remove the stains. And then the dirty solution that's left in your carpet is sucked up through the clear nozzle into the recovery tank. So I'll pop that nozzle back on. It's a bit easier done when I'm not holding a camera, and then we'll have a go and see if we can get any dirt out of this very clean looking carpet. Right, so we're just about to clean the carpet. It's always best to clean in the furthest corner away from the door, so whichever door you're going to exit the room from, clean that patch last, so you're not walking back over wet carpet once you've cleaned it, or hopefully damp carpet. So basically, to use the machine, after we've switched it on, after we've released the handle, switch it on here. The only other control we need to concern ourselves with at the moment is this one here. That's the trigger to release the shampoo. And Bissell recommend, I think you do 2 wet strokes followed by dry strokes. Wet strokes just mean back and forth with the trigger pressed in, so it's releasing the shampoo. The more dry strokes you use, the drier your carpet will be. So it's always best to go over it as much as you can until you can see no more solution coming up the front there. So without any further ado, let's start in this corner here and see what this machine can do. Well, I've finished cleaning the living room, and on camera you might not be able to see much of a difference, but in real life I can see a difference. The pile has certainly been brought up a bit more. As I say, considering this carpet was washed less than a month ago with another make of carpet washer, it appears that the few marks that were on the carpet have been removed. So all in all, seems to have done a good job, and I must say it's nice to use, it's convenient, and it's very comfortable to use. The looped handle is nice and comfortable to hold, and for me it's a nice height. There's no stooping. It moves across the carpet easily thanks to its two large wheels, and the whole room smells absolutely divine with the fragrance of the carpet cleaning solution. That will fade, of course, as the carpet dries. Let's go over to the sink then and empty out the last tank full and just see how much dirt we've got. Well, I've got a bowl so we can see the dirt a bit clearer rather than just pouring it down the sink. So here's the tank, and as I thought, it's not filthy black dirty, but it is dirty, considering it's not long since the carpet was cleaned and it's vacuumed very regularly. We'll see. This is the part of the tank that you pour the dirty solution out of, so I'll just pour it into the bowl. Now, like I said, you're not going to get the dramatic sort of results that they show you on the infomercials and home shopping channels, because they do put a lot of dirt down on the carpets just to show the washing action. But that's still dirt. There's still dirt in the carpet that hadn't been removed from the vacuum. Let's just tip it out. And I expect there are gritty particles in the bladder, in the tank and on the bladder. And if I was to take all that out, there would, I expect, be some heavy dirt right at the bottom there. So, like I say, not a dramatic difference, but a difference nonetheless. So that's my brief demonstration of the Bissell Healthy Home Pet Clean. Like I say, it wasn't dramatic, but it is nice to know that my carpet is clean and fresh. Because even though there may be dirt you can't see in the carpet, if you've got dogs walking in, you don't know what's on their paws, you might have the odd spillage, just general grime that gets trodden into your carpet. I mean, people would not leave their hard floors, would they, for months and months on end without washing them. So why do we do it to our carpets? Why do we just leave the carpets? So that is certainly an improvement on what was already a pretty clean carpet. So for my lovely, clean, fresh smelling carpet, it's goodbye for me. I hope you've enjoyed this brief demonstration of the Bissell Healthy Home Pet Clean. If you'd like to see more demonstrations of various vacuum cleaners and floor washers, carpet cleaning machines, then search my videos and you'll find lots more. So, see you soon. Goodbye.